Really pretty bird. And it's really big as well. And it could have just taken off from the Juma Dam, which has a live waterhole camera. We did go past the Juma waterhole a little bit earlier because the lion tracks were up and down in and around that area. But they ended up veering more north, so that's where we followed them to. We're on Impala Plains now. And a few other important members of our team who are also up and about this morning are Nikki and Eugene in the final control. So, without further ado, like I said, the Lions tracks are heading straight down this road. We are quite close to our boundary with Arethusa, but thankfully we are allowed onto Arethusa. So even if these lions do cross, oh, they've all been sleeping here. And I'm actually going to stop and show you. There's a huge amount of lion tracks, and you can actually see where some of their tails were lying in the ground. Look at all those lion tracks. If we go further to the right, we'll see a few marks where, if you could zoom out a bit, there we go. Over here is where the tail of a lion, you can see that. Almost imagine the tail and the little black furry fur ball at the end creating that larger depression in the sand. So these lions took a break here, but I'm sure would have continued down this road after their small snooze. Okay, well, how awesome was that? I hope you enjoyed seeing all of those tracks. We find the animals. What have their tracks done from here? They appear to continue down this road. So will we.
Behind me, there is an adult. And has been resting here this morning. We had a very interesting moment as we arrived here. We noticed something actually coming out the burrow, and on closer inspection we saw that it was in fact a warthog, which is very strange for us. The hyena has been lying probably about I'd say 20 to 30 meters away, and the warthog stuck its head out, looked like an adult female, and she sat for a short period of time watching, scanning the area, making sure that there wasn't any danger around, and after about 5 minutes she stood up and ran out of the burrow. This is actually very strange behavior. I've never seen this before. And I understand that this burrow was in fact active, or this den rather was active a few days ago. So it would be interesting to find out if the pups are, or the cubs, excuse me, are still in the den. It's quite unlikely for warthog to go into a burrow or a den site if there are other animals around. I haven't heard of that type of interaction before, unless what can occasionally happen is there may be two entrances to this den, and perhaps the cubs are on the other side in another hole. Occasionally it may link up, but perhaps they are hidden on the other side, and the warthog slept in the den during the evening, and now I've gone off to feed for the day and spend the day outside. This hyena over here is not fazed by us at all, completely relaxed. Just resting, possibly been moving around during the evening, trying to see if it could pick up on the smell or the scent of any kill. And now has returned back to the den. It may have just checked that the cubs are okay, and is resting for a while. You know, a lot of these animals are very active at night and can cover quite a large distance. So we don't really know what this hyena got up to, but I'm sure it did cover quite a bit of ground and is now just resting and relaxing. It's so exciting to be here for me. I haven't been in this Djuma area for quite a number of years. I think I'm sure a lot of you are curious about a bit of my background and why I'm here today. So I have worked in the Sabi Sands for many years. So it's such a wonderful place to be and always great to come back. Been away for a little while, and now fortunately I get to take you around and show you some of this beautiful area. Oh, hang on. We've got a leopard. It looks like, it's moving directly behind the hyena, probably 40 meters away. Oh, this is exciting stuff. Hyena's up and running. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly try to see if we can follow this. Just ran off away from this area, but it looked as if it was quite nervous and skittish. Could possibly have spotted the hyena, and over the time, leopards don't like too much attention drawn to them. Let me see if I can find this leopard again. Move through quite a thick area. Let's have a look here. This is very exciting stuff. The hyena's running around. Wait, we've got the leopard again. It's moving through a thicket, and the hyena's chased him off. Okay, let me see. It's a bit tricky to try to get through here now. As I was saying, the leopard obviously doesn't want any attention drawn to it, and this hyena ran straight after the leopard, possibly also trying to get it away from the den site. There's quite a big drainage line in between me and where the leopard has gone, so it's going to be difficult to try and follow from here for now. Let's see if I can make my way around somewhere. And it's I've struggling to get a position. Interesting. Just got an update. I think this leopard is probably the Tingana leopard, which is a dominant leopard on the Arathusa area, so not actually seen very often on Djuma. The wonderful thing about leopard is that they can cover a huge territory, sometimes bigger than what what we would expect. And often leopard territories may overlap at times. There's usually clear areas that they scent mark, and they do like to use roads quite frequently, so that they can have a clear boundary and mark it so that other leopards know that they're in the area. Just trying to get through this thicket, see if we can't find where that leopard's gone. As I mentioned, it did seem quite nervous when it saw that hyena and ran off quite quickly. And we all know a leopard, if it doesn't want to be seen, is not going to be seen. They're very elusive animals. How amazing was that to see that interaction? Firstly, having the warthog run out of a hyena den, and then to see a leopard just strolling in. Passing through now is perfect for a leopard. Quite deep drainage lines, very thick bush. Just having a look to my left, there's a very steep drainage line. It's not going to be easy to get through there. I heard a brief Franklin alarm call up ahead, and that could possibly be because something ran past it, maybe the leopard or the hyena, both of which ran off in the direction which we are driving. How lucky I am this morning on the first drive with all of you, and we managed to see hyena and leopard so quickly. These beautiful, cool mornings as we move into winter now are great for predators to move around. A lot of them do like to move around early in the morning, and because it stays a lot cooler for a lot longer, they tend to move around later into the morning, as opposed to summer where they will often rest quite early on because it gets so hot. Absolutely no sign of either of the leopard or the hyena yet. To have all of you with me, and I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am so far. It's really an incredible start. I also know there are a lot of first-time viewers. I obviously told past guests and friends to join us this morning, so it's great to have all of you together and experiencing this with you. here for a quick second and listen out, often other animals may give us a sign that they've seen a predator, like a leopard or a hyena. Good morning to Oki. You just sent us a question on Twitter, and you asked if the hyena is dangerous to people. Definitely. A hyena is an extremely powerful predator. They, in most parts of southern Africa, hyenas tend to scavenge a lot more than hunt for themselves, but they do hunt a lot of the time, especially up in East Africa. They a lot of the predator density isn't very high in certain areas, so the hyenas do have to hunt for themselves so that they can get food. Hyenas generally would be quite skittish. They're very curious animals, but they are skittish. So they may come, have a closer look, sniff around. But if you clap your hands or make a noise, they may run away from you. However, if you corner a hyena or try and take food from them, then you are definitely looking for trouble, and they can be dangerous to people. They've got the most powerful jaws out of any predator in this area, so their crushing strength is incredible. They're fascinating animals, they really are. Just trying to listen out a little bit more for any signs. But we don't hear anything currently. Again, with that hyena running after the leopard, because a leopard is a solitary predator, they don't want to risk in any injury. If they get injured, they won't have the opportunity to hunt for themselves and possibly cause death. So a leopard tries to avoid any other predators. Just some Franklin calling in the drainage line, but it sounds more like just a morning call rather than a distress or alarm call. So, as I was saying, it's a leopard doesn't want to risk any chance of injury. So avoiding any other predators is key for the leopard. They would prefer to run up a tree or disappear into a drainage line, then stand and face a hyena, even though the hyena will not be hunting the leopard. But often hyena follow leopard to see if they perhaps have a kill, which they may steal from them. Driving through the sticker a little bit. Little steenbok just ran off in front of us, one of the smallest antelope in this area. I'm just checking the drainage line now. It's if you see, it's quite steep down here, so it's very difficult to try and get a vehicle down there. But again, a perfect little area for a leopard to run and hide away. If you have any questions or anything you'd like to know, please get hold of us on Twitter at #SafariLive if you're using Twitter. Otherwise, feel free to email your addresses or your questions, on questions@wildearth.tv, especially for all those new guests watching. You can send through questions, or even if you'd just like to say hello. Still no sign of this leopard. But he really did not look comfortable with that hyena around. Very clever animals. They're incredibly intelligent. As I mentioned, quite elusive. So if a leopard was being chased by something, what they could occasionally do is they may run away, but then circle around to try and get out of view of whatever it was chasing them, or just find a little spot and hide and literally duck down into a drainage line or into a thicket, hide away, perhaps whatever was chasing them, walk straight past. They're very, very clever cats and so beautiful. It was amazing to see them this morning, and the light at the moment is amazing. Beautiful, beautiful sunrise. It's quite a cold morning in Juma, and let's just have a look around here again. Some more.
Back with us, everyone, and what a start for Byron. How awesome is that? So happy that you all got to share that really interesting sighting with him. We ended up following the lion tracks very far into Arethusa, and I decided to abandon the mission because we were having broadcast issues from there, so we were getting no signal from this vehicle. So even if we found them, there was a chance that we wouldn't be able to show them with you. So I've decided to head back onto Juma, onto safe ground, and give Byron a hand trying to find what I heard was Tingana. And really interesting that he is pushing deeper into the Juma property. And let's hope Byron manages to relocate him. But even if he doesn't, just those few glimpses and moments that you shared with Byron and that leopard are so awesome. And it's the quality of the sighting often more than the quantity or the length of time in a sighting. So really happy about that. I must say a little bit tricky to leave tracks. We followed them for so far. Those lion were moving huge distances. Anyway, at least we are still out here, and we could bump into anything else along the way. Driving so quickly after those lion tracks that Phil and myself are frozen from the windshield from the vehicle. We were lucky enough that tracks of the lion were going inside a riverbed, which made them very easy to see, so we could drive very quickly to follow them. Anyway, hopefully the Arethusa guys managed to find them this morning, and at least this afternoon we could possibly head across to try and see them. A little bit. I think I may have seen some leopard tracks. I have, and they look like there could be tracks of shadow. Now, just on our right-hand side, difficult to see at the moment, but walking along the road in this area, there have been a few pad marks of what looked to be a female leopard. It is difficult with shadow and a cub because the tracks are fairly similar in size, and up there you can see 2 tracks fairly easily, but when the tracks are in the shady areas it can be difficult to pick up all of the finer details of them. Anyway, we're going to carry on, but it's certainly this information is useful for us to put into the memory bank for later. And we'll possibly come back into this area. There have been a lot of vehicles driving around here. There have also been wild dog tracks in the area. So a lot going on in this area. Lions, wild dogs, leopards, a lot of predators on the move. It's just about trying to find them now. Blair, and Blair would like to know why we can't follow those lion tracks any further into Arethusa, and we could, but because we don't have much signal there at the moment, the area I was going through, and the signal chops and changes on a daily basis. Sadly this morning it wasn't very good, and I don't want to leave Byron stranded across here having to do the whole drive on his own, and I thought it would be also great to come back and see if we can find Tingana. So we will, like I say, hopefully get an update as to where those lions are found, or if they are found this morning, and we can possibly head across there for the sunset safari later on today. But trust me, it wasn't easy turning around and heading in the opposite directions of those tracks. We followed them from far, from all the way at the Vuyatela camp, which is the camp on Juma. Literally from outside the final control room, there were tracks of these lions, and they've come all the way probably about 3 miles where we left them into Arethusa. They've covered a huge distance. Tracks, they crossed straight across a main road, this main road just further behind us, and I was trying to link ahead to find their tracks on another road, and I saw Sean from Arethusa flying around the corner, and he was like, "What you looking for?" And I was like, "Lion," and he was like, "I'm following tracks of wild dog that had actually been heading in the opposite direction to where I was going, but sadly we didn't bump into them along the way. But at any point in time we could come across those wild dog. They move huge distances in very short spaces of time, which makes tracking them extremely difficult. Often guides, when following tracks of wild dogs, will see the tracks and drive to the opposite end of their property where the tracks are heading towards, just to make sure they haven't already crossed out. So that gives you an idea of how quickly they can move. They can cross through an area without anyone even seeing them, leaving tracks everywhere in and along and in between, which if you try and follow each footprint you'll be there for days. You'll never catch up to them. But hopefully they're going to catch up with us, and like I say, sometimes the animals find us before we can find them, and there's nothing wrong with that. We have to take all the lucky moments we can get out here. A hyena track coming towards us there that I just wanted to double check. Now, anywhere from here where we are now, we could possibly bump into Tingana. I believe he was heading in this general direction, and the amount of time that's passed between when you last saw him with Byron and now would easily have been enough for him to get to here, provided he still is on the move. Oh, little Steenbok. Beautiful. It's a little female, fully grown, so I should be careful of how I word that. She's a fully grown female, but it's just a very small antelope, the steenbuck. I'm going to try and creep forward a bit, or is she going to pop back out? No, it looks like she's popping back out. Looks like she can't exactly work out what she wants for breakfast this morning. She's thinking about taking a nibble on those little bushes, but there we go.
Yeah, if it was left and found, yeah, but it looks like it was just driving around and looking around there. I don't know what it was.
Okay, well, oh no, is it going to pop out again? No. There's too much thick bush, so we're going to carry on. Okay, well, we're very close to Byron now. He's still looking for Tingana, and he's actually on the same road that we're about to turn onto. I just want to update Aubrey and Texan as to what's going on, so that they have a chance of also helping us to relocate on this leopard. Can move such big distances in such short spaces of time that it's important to remember when you are looking for an animal or trying to relocate an animal to loop ahead and often try and forecast where the animal's gone rather than looking for each individual track. Update from Byron, who was with Tingana, apparently crossed east over Rebecca's Road down towards Philemon's Dip, and then also Impala were alarm calling somewhere on Philemon's cut line.